And welcome back, everybody. House Party 5v5 back online. Got those Riot servers working. Gonna see if things are stable enough to continue tournament play here. I'm your host, Anson, and joining me as analysts, my good friend Deck.
Hey, guys.
And Just a Base.
Hello, everyone.
Excited to be getting this series started. We have our bans, J-Said Gragas coming out for blue team, and Maokai Kennen Sejuan coming out for the red side. So what we're seeing here, Jetstone has the Rumble open if he wants to pick it.
Isn't it disabled right now?
Yeah,
That's right. Yes, Rumble is disabled. That is a Jetstone nerf right there. So, whoa, he's gonna have to go a different direction, I guess. Here.
Well, true.
It's kind of unfortunate. It's basically a free ban.
Yeah.
So
4 bans is too much.
I'm liking the Vi lock-in that we've got going here. Mycroft playing Nautilus with Exhaust as well. So we got things shaping up on that side. Quite a bit of crowd control brought to the table just with those 2 picks alone.
Yeah, I'm surprised to not see blue team looking for a Sivir, just because purple team is 2 picks in, and they have 2 of the most point-and-click lockdown champions you can get, pretty much. Like, Maokai's been banned, so I don't think there's any better targeted lockdown available.
It's a great choice for them, and we'll see what
we still have time to
ends up going with.
We still have the opportunity for a silver pick, so we'll see how it happens.
Yeah, it's just a little risky passing it back to purple team, because, like, then they could pick the Sivir away, and that would just mean that the blue team's ADC has to position pretty perfectly in order to not get punished by Nautilus ulti, Vi ulti, various hooks, and tons of damage.
It would definitely be unfortunate.
Chibodi and SW up next for Shadow Walkers. The Draven, okay. Another good champion that really synergizes well with Nautilus and his lockdown. That point-and-click lockdown is just so disruptive in lane. You know, Vi brings that to the table when she comes to gank. When she comes around for a visit every 4 or 5 minutes or so. But Nautilus is just, every time that ult is up, Chibodi, or whoever takes the Draven here, is going to be just chucking those axes out.
Yeah, and I'm honestly surprised that LeBlanc made it through, because, like, you see LeBlanc banned so much, especially against a lot of the picks that people play right now. Not necessarily the tanks, but a lot of the carries can't really stand up to her burst.
LeBlanc is really strong right now. There's just so much that she offers in terms of damage and even utility for an assassin. So, not a surprise to...
Wow.
I'm wondering if
I don't like that Kog'Maw.
He's not
Confident. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Yes, pick the Sivir. Be a reasonable human being.
Just like, I don't like the Kog'Maw there.
If he picked it, he'd just be showing immense confidence in himself and his team, because they do have the Janna Morgana, so, like, that's a lot of protection right there. But it's still pretty risky. Lucian's also a solid pickup, because with the Morgana shield and the Janna ult to sort of disengage from the fight, he should be able to dash enough to reposition ad nauseum.
I mean, picking somebody who has, like, decent mobility against these guys would be good, especially since they do have the Morgana shield. I definitely would not pick something like Kog'Maw or even a Jinx, actually. I don't really think Jinx would even be good, because they can just dive right past your traps. Let's see what the last pick for purple team is.
Mega Totodile going to be rounding things out for his team. Yeah, I'd like to see the Gnar come in on this team as well. I just feel like that would bring so much to this composition here, and if I recall correctly, I think Totodile has played a few Gnar games before.
That would be a lot of dive. They'd be really committed to like picking people out and then just snowballing into the team fights.
You know, a Riven could work as well. Not a lot of lockdown, but quite a bit of damage that that Riven brings to the table.
They're definitely going for high risk, high reward with picking a bunch of snowbally champs, but they have the lockdown to do it.
Quite a bit of lockdown, and I think a lot's going to hinge on top lane, really. It's going to be Mega against who here? Malkathos? I'm not sure who's going to be on top, but we're going to be seeing the Riven up in top lane. That much we know. But what else do we know? Malkathos. Okay, Malkathos is going to be taking the Vladimir. Vladimir's a good answer to, I don't want to say counter, but Vladimir's a good answer to Riven. I feel like he's a safe pick against her, a lot safer than a lot of other champions out there. Riven outclasses, I think, most champions that get matched up against her. So I think it's a good choice for them.
I mean, Riven is really strong, but the thing that a lot of people end up running into is that they misread her power spikes, and they assume that they're safe when they're not. I do like the Morgana into LeBlanc. Like, I play a lot of LeBlanc, and Morgana is one of the most annoying things to play against, simply because you can just max your W, get your pool maxed up, push it in a tower, and now LeBlanc can't use her double dash to kill you.
Good point. Well, folks, we are heading into our 3-minute delay. Caster's going to take a short break, and once we're past loading screen, we'll see you guys again. And the action has begun. Welcome everybody, House Party 5v5's Saturday League Quarterfinals Stage 1. On to our next best of 3 series. ACME Corp on the blue side, Shadow Walkers on the red side. Hey folks, my name is Anson. I'll be shoutcasting this game along with my good friend Deck.
Hey guys.
Glad to have you here, Deck. Welcome aboard, sir.
Yeah, happy to be here. I am seeing some very aggressive warding.
Quite some early wards being dropped in that side of the jungle. I'm wondering how much of an importance Shadow Walkers placed on the potential lane swap, or they might have actually been trying to spot out where Zark was going to start his jungle path at.
I think it's a combination of wanting to know where Zark was going to be starting, so that they could keep the mirror, and also because they don't want to put Riven in a 1v2. Like, Vlad can deal with a 1v2, but Riven can't. So, if they had decided to do a lane swap from blue side, which isn't very common, but if they did, then Riven would be behind it already.
Gromp start for Chibodi. He'll be taking Vi through the jungle camps, and looks like Zark opting to go for the double golems on his start, so both junglers going to be mirroring each other's path as they make their way across the map toward the top lane.
Already just waiting on this LeBlanc to hit level 2. 1 minion. Level 2 is the first power spike that she's got.
Yeah, the level 2 power spike on LeBlanc is pretty strong, and I gotta question this this mid lane pick from Strategos. Just a Morgana mid, I guess against a LeBlanc, you've got a few benefits, but I've got to think that SW is going to be able to skate around those skill shots, be able to work around the use of his ultimate. Jetstone getting knocked up there by Mob Ghost, and John putting some damage down onto him, but quite a bit traded back in return as well. But yeah, I see SW being able to juke on the bindings, play around the ultimate, and spell shield as well.
The real catch isn't so much the actual fighting between them. LeBlanc will definitely be able to dodge a lot of the skill shots, the Strat throws and stuff, but the real catch is that because Strat can max her pool, it can just keep the wave constantly pushing the tower, which means that SW can't roam.
That's another thing. LeBlanc does not farm very well under turret, and when you push, you stop the roam as well, which is disastrous for the opposing team on a LeBlanc.
Seeing a little bit of aggression. Zark probably thought he could maybe get something from Chibone, but unfortunately no, nothing.
Yeah, Strat's going to have to be careful here. SW is starting to put the damage down onto him. That was a great binding he did right there, and that's only going to ramp up as he gets closer to 6.
Oh, definitely. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't quite catch what happened, but I think Strat may have either not have enough mana or just used the shield. So he didn't have it up again to bind against the binding snare and the proc damage.
You got to keep track of that shield, and especially for SW, that's the thing he wants to do is work around it. You got to have those cooldowns in your head and know when that shield is available and when it's not. And I think he did a good job of exactly that, just in that 1 minute engagement. This bottom lane being pushed up quite heavily, that's going to mean a little bit of easy farm for John the Great. But gank coming in from Zark into the bottom lane. Jetstone is on the run, 2 bars of health left. He and his partner Mycroft flash over that wall into Tribrush territory in safety, but that's double flash down bottom lane already at this stage.
Yeah, and I mean that was a fantastic catch by Zark.
Great Q from Chibodi there. Got a good amount of damage down on the Strategos and was able to get around that. Look at this. If
Goodbye, Strategos.
Hits First Blood. Yep, that potion not going to keep him alive there. Actually, that was down to the wire. That was pretty darn close because he does have the skilled up culinary mastery that gives him those biscuits, and they don't just regenerate mana in addition to health. They also give you, I think it's 20 health right off the bat. Yes, 20 health and 10 mana immediately. So it was a good try. Very
Unfortunately, he was ignited, so that did reduce the healing by just a small amount, and it happened to be enough to quite barely kill him. I'm pleased to see that that the Vlad is doing well against Riven, actually.
Yeah, he's sort of dictating the pace up top. Malkathos has already forced Totodile to have to go back. And take a look at the farm. He's up by about 10 CS and just constantly pushing that wave under turret. Now, Riven can farm underneath turret pretty efficiently, but at the same time, he's out trading.
Right. Like, the important thing to note isn't so much that it's the out trading potential or anything, or the ability to farm under the tower, shoving the lane, whatever. It's that early game, the first couple of levels, is Vlad's weakest. He has very low sustain until he gets spell vamp. He doesn't have very much health.
And we got Zark coming in for the gank bottom here. Let's see if he ends up finding some action. Mycroft is there with the body block and the disruption. Jetstone not taking any damage yet. John the Great is starting to go to work on Mycroft, but in comes Chibodi on the buy, misses his assault and battery. Totodile coming in with the teleport, throws the wind slash down. John the Great is having to get back out of this ugly situation, but Noctos has joined the fray as well. He's level 6. Can he get the ultimate down? No, the Tides of Blood doesn't go on anybody unless I missed it. Totodile getting out with less than 10 health. Jetstone coming in with the axe, picks up a kill here, but he is in trouble. Strategos with a great binding. Jetstone going to fall up next, and Totodile and Chibodi are on the run. The last tick of Ignite going down. The double kill goes over to Strategos. Great dodge on the Dark Binding there, but that was some action.
That's a pretty big extended team fight.
The binding does go onto SW underneath the turret. That's going to be a pickup for Strategos. That's effectively a triple kill. That is... Wow. Okay, Strategos taking 3 kills worth of gold, back to base now. He's sitting on nothing but a double Dorns and some trinkets in his inventory. He's going to stack needlessly large on top of that and head back to lane. That's just going to make it all the more difficult for SW to keep that lane in a comfortable position. He's going to be going back out there with his W, just pushing that wave up to that turret 24/7, and I really think that Shadow Walkers are going to have a difficult time after that engagement. Yes, things are even up 4-4. Shadow Walkers do have the gold lead still, but I really feel like ACME solidified themselves in a good position with that fight there, and I think things are looking up for them at this stage in the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, SW even managed to pull 2 kills there, but even with those 2 kills, Strat managed to get 3 kills and also got an assist. So, full kill participation, 300 gold ahead. We'll see how it goes. I mean, he managed to roam down faster as well than the LeBlanc, which is surprising in and of itself.
The ult gets turned on. Unstoppable Force hits Mycroft. The axe not going to hit Jetstone, though. That doesn't give the crowd control necessary, but John able to survive through it and return damage takes him out, and Mycroft going to have to limp back to base. A few things being traded out here in the middle lane. Look at the Soul Shackles going down onto Strategos. Has to flash away from it. Returns fire, but the binding does hit that auto attack. Gonna take him out though. Tides of Blood going down onto Totodile in the top lane here. The Wind Slash does cut him right across the face though. But Malkathos trying to wait for his cooldowns to come back up. The stun does go onto him, and that's 300 gold into Totodile's pocket.
Definitely seeing the unfortunate power of the Hex Drinker against Vlad. His ult procced and did no damage.
Yeah, that's
all got absorbed.
It's a good early pickup for Riven to take that Hex Drinker into lane. You saw, even when the Tides of Blood wore off, he still had a little bit of shield left from that item. So it's a great pickup for him. It made all the difference in that fight. And of course, Vlad, Malkathos going to have to be wary of that as he heads back to lane. Don't want to be giving Riven kills. Any kill you give a Riven is worth 1.5 kills at the very least on any other champion.
Oh, definitely. Unfortunate reset of the blue, trying to trade to Strat.
That does sometimes happen. We've seen it happen to the pros too.
One thing to look at though was that, like, we were just talking about Strat, who did really well in that team fight and got, you know, a bunch of gold, managed to pick up the Neilsley Large Rod, gets to lane, and then dies to LeBlanc, despite being an item ahead of LeBlanc.
It was a really great play by SW.
He SW played that fantastically.
He was able to mitigate everything that Strategos had in his arsenal here. A great gank, but great black shield. Binding, not so much, but hey, Strategos is safe. Mega Totodile taking a lot of return harass. Malkathos is just sitting back. John the Great is getting caught out here. The ultimate goes down onto him. Zark is coming in with the hero's save. Nope, not going to be able to save anybody today, but he may be able to grab a consolation prize. Jetstone heading back to lane. Mobgos has got to be careful. He doesn't want to get axed by Jet, and that anchor should allow Jet to escape. Yes, he's actually going to make it out here. SW trying to clean things up a little bit. Puts the damage down onto Zark. He should be able to get this one here. No, not going to be able to. Passive gets proc off the turret shots, and he's just going to have to walk away.
I think that was a really good play overall. I'm surprised Jet managed to survive despite being head-to-head with a Scion by himself, really low on health for a little while. But fantastic hook disengaged by Mycroft.
Chibodi going in with the assault and battery there, though misses it, gets bound and pulled, and look at that. Half of his health just gone in an instant.
Just to bring some attention to the item builds, Jet currently has 2 pickaxes for double the picking power.
Yeah, sure. That's wow. Okay, so what he's got basically is 2 components to his Infinity Edge, and 2 components to his Last Whisper, and it's just damage on top of damage. And wow, it's not the most slot efficient use of your gold, but you know, at the same time, it's working out for him, and if he's able to get a lot of damage in his mid-game power spike, could work out well. We'll have to see how it goes for him. Oh, SW dodging the binding there. Great dodge on that. Spell Shield gonna keep Strategos alive, but the Ignite is not going to be enough as the Soul Shackles didn't actually hit.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that SW couldn't get a little bit more damage in before the shield went down. But it was a good play by Strat. Force a lot of defenses away from SW. SW probably has to either back or play much safer now.
Totodile going in on the Malkathos here. Throws Tides of Blood down onto Toto. The Hex Drinker does proc. Toto getting himself a nice shield there, but the 1v1 going to go in favor of Malkathos. A little bit of a turnaround in that top lane. Both are very close in kills, but Strategos, look at this here, had to flash out of that, and Chibodi using the Assault and Battery to get in. One more tower shot's going to hit thanks to the Zark slow, and he's going to clean that kill up. But Malkathos is in trouble. The pool was not available. Zark turning on the Unstoppable Force. Jetstone with a great sidestep, and unfortunately it put him out of position. The rest of the team trying to catch up now. They do a good job of taking him out of the fight, and John the Greatest is just going to have free reign over this fight and this turret. I don't see SW making a pick here.
That was almost the beginnings of like a great turnaround as Jet dodges the Scion that's totally trying to kill him, and then unfortunately everybody else is not quite in range to save him. He did manage to get a lot of damage out, but unfortunately SW had just used all of his resources killing Strat, well, almost killing Strat.
Yeah, I think Zark's ultimate was it was sort of trending left, I guess you could say, and Jetstone made the right decision to try to avoid it, step to the right. Unfortunately, it put him way too out of position in that fight, and when the rest of the team caught up, it was curtains. So it looks like
it's just unfortunate when the correct answer is the dead answer.
Right. It's an impasse, an old chess term. When you force your opponent to where all of their options are bad, they just have to pick the least worst. So that's going to be Dragon number 1 of the game going over to Shadow Walkers as Malkathos continues to pressure this turret. It looks like they're going to trade turret for Dragon here. Good call from Malkathos, keeping on top of the objectives and trying to answer 1 for 1. So second turret of the game going over to ACME Corp. Take a look at the gold difference, and it's just 1,000 between the two. Not that big of a difference. Farm really coming through for ACME Corp. In the top lane, it's a huge difference in CS. Bottom lane, same thing. You got nearly 20 CS difference between John the Greatest and Jetstone.
Yeah, there's that very slight difference, but if you actually look at the total gold, it's not really that much different. Because Jet's managed to get himself 2 extra assists. So he's really only, I don't know, probably about 50 gold behind.
And that shows you how good assists really are, spreading that gold out, amping up the kill participation. It really can make a big difference, a big impact. So 20 CS is about 2 gold. Is about a kill and a half worth of gold, and he's definitely made up for that.
We'll have to see what's the next big thing on the map. We've already seen Red Side's lost 2 towers and haven't gotten any towers in response, but they do have the dragon, so they got that going for it.
Toto going in, turns on the ult, and just has to back out. It's wow. Not going to be able to get much of anything out of that at all. That's the thing when you take a Vladimir into lane against a Riven. It's just you pull and you're out to safety. Play passive until pool is back up and then go back to bullying. And I think Malkathos has just been running through the paces of that all game long, and it's really helped out. The Riven hasn't been pressuring the map, isn't able to keep up in farm, just trying to stay dead even with Vlad. And when your Riven is trying to stay dead even, you know the snowball's really not going on there. SW, unfortunately, getting focused out here. Strategos with a great Zanya. The Chivoti wants to make him pay for that. He will pick up the kill thanks to the ultimate there, but gets knocked out himself on the way out. So a 2-for-1 exchange there. And another Jetstone falling in the bottom lane as well. So things looking up for ACME Corp. 2,000 gold victories now.
It looked like SW was trying to bait Strat into engaging on him, and Strat engaged on him, and they didn't even realize that Malkathos had come up behind him. So Malkathos got to just ult both Chivode and SW and just increase all the damage that Strat was doing to them.
Mega Totodile trying for the all-in on Zark here, but doesn't find himself a very good target. He's not dealing very much damage, unfortunately. He's got his armor penetration for any armor that Vlad's going to be bringing into lane. Certainly a fair bit with that Seeker's Arm Guard. He's got the lifesteal for the sustain and the defensive item in the Hex Drinker, but he hasn't really pieced together anything with a substantial impact all on its own. Just little pieces of items that help out, certainly. But we'll see if he's able to try to get sort of a mid-game snowball going on. But at this point, it feels a little bit gimped. The Riven does.
Yeah, I think the Ionian boots are a little bit too early. I know that they're really good because you want the extra CDR, and he doesn't necessarily need the defensive boots against Vlad. But small team fight.
Getting in the middle of the action here, going for the tower dive, and it was ill-advised. Strategos trying to provide support, but just ends up getting caught out as well. The Soul Shackle's not going to get, and that is a dead mid laner, unfortunately for ACME Corp, but pushing down the bottom turret, so they trade 2 kills for a turret there.
I almost think that was just like miscommunication between Malkathos, Strat, and the rest of the team, because they didn't have any vision of that part of the map, and the rest of the team is pushing bot lane, so they don't know who's coming up behind them. They don't know how many people are around them, and then by the time they do know, it's too late.
So SW forcing the defense of ACME Corp back, and we're able to pick up a turret on top of that as well. I think actually they just killed everybody, pretty much. Killed everybody, went in on the turret. So you had 3 members of ACME in the bottom lane taking out that turret, but it just didn't prove to be a very good trade. 1 turret for a turret and 2 kills. So ACME gonna have to take a look at how they're evaluating these options and possibly reconsider. Because at this point, Shadow Walkers are outclassing them when it comes to objective control.
Well, if you look at it though, like Blue Side currently traded the bot tower, the last outer turret, for their first outer turret being gone. So I almost would call that worth, even with the deaths.
It is mid turret, and that is arguably the most important turret of the game. Wow, great action going on here. SW might take, yes, 2 get taken out with the Tides of Blood there. I didn't even think that Totodile was going to even be an option for death out of that ult. Mycroft and great knockback from Zark, cleaning house there. Fantastic exchange. They just put away 4 members of Shadow Walkers. ACME Corp are digging their heels in here, and this game is about as close as it can get.
Yeah, I mean, like, swift turnaround, good job to them. That was a fantastic team fight. Like, the missed Scion ult kind of sucked, but then it's okay. Fantastic Janna ult into the combo of the Morgana ult. And clean up kills, get Dragon. Meanwhile, Malkathos gets 2 solo kills by himself.
Malkathos certainly going to be enjoying those 2 solo kills. You know, Vladimir is one of those champions that can really make a big impact on a game, and can also just make absolutely no impact at all. Totodile going in here onto Strategos, but he's got the comfort safety of his turret there, so he's going to be headed back to that one. But you know, looking at the map, ACME Corp have 4 turrets to Shadow Walker's 1. So despite the fact that I feel like Shadow Walkers was able to outtrade them in that last in the fight before last when they took the mid turret there, ACME Corp really rallied back. They got 4 kills. They have a good map position now, and they've already got themselves 4 turrets in this game so far. So another one on top of that. Very good news for them. Zark getting found by the roaming members of Shadow Walkers here. Gonna remain fairly safe. Be able to just stand and keep vision over where Shadow Walkers are headed. And this blue up not going anywhere but in ACME Corp's hands.
I mean, just glancing at the gold, a lot of them are actually even. The only huge gold disparity is between Malkathos and Totodile. The 2,000 gold lead is all on Malkathos.
And I guess that's why this game feels so close, even though the gold difference is pretty substantial, 3,000. But when it's stacked virtually all on one person, especially if that person is top lane, which tends to join the rest of the game a little bit later than the rest. A lot of knock-up action going on from Zark here as Shadow Walkers continue to run. Chivoti didn't get the medal though. He's in the back line, tearing up John the Greatest. A great ult from Mob Ghost, going to displace him and keep his AD carry alive. Jetstone getting chased down by the remainder of ACME Corp's team. Only Zark falling in that engagement. But Jetstone going to be going down as well, thanks to some really smooth moves from Mob Ghost.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the combo that we talked about in Champ Select. We saw the Vi Nautilus on the AD carry, and we saw how it worked out for their team. They were able to just kind of backpedal away from it and then use Janna to disengage and disorient the team.
This is one of those unfortunate situations that Vi players don't look forward to. Right now, there aren't a lot of options available for Chivoti. If he does what he did there, which is dive the back line, okay, he's providing some disruption, and he was able to get John the Greatest completely out of that fight. But at the same time, when it was all over and said and done, he's sitting there on cooldowns in the middle of the rest of the team, while his AD carry is down 2 sources of peel. So it's, do you stand back? Do you wait for the team fight to happen and engage on a build with a Trinity Force? Yes, I think that's what you go for. But is that the best option for Shadow Walkers at this point? I don't think so. I think the best option for them is to let Chivoti use his peel for Jetstone and not use it as an engage tool like he did the last fight. But unfortunately, he's just not built for it at this stage. Going early Trinity Force on Vi is a risky move.
I mean, when we have, case in point what I was about to say, when we have the LeBlanc, you want to do picks.
Totodile getting focused down, but did some great damage. Stratago's gonna fall there. Chivoti using the ultimate to engage, gets chunked so hard, but in possession of about 30 hit points. Gonna be able to walk away from that one. So yeah, he used the ultimate to engage, got John taken out, and was able to skate away with his life there. I have to feel like ACME Corp want to punish him more for that. They need to be aware of their back line, what's going on, and provide some sort of a disruption of peel.
I think ACME has like really good vision of this bot side jungle, but they didn't really fight in a position where they could use it. Strat got picked off on the sidelines by SW, which, if you're playing against LeBlanc, you need to know where LeBlanc is. And they may have known the general area, but they didn't know when SW was going to come in. So they could have caught SW when he came in. He was really low. So a good play on Shadow's side, but ACME, use that vision a little bit.
Yeah, ACME just not really in the best position for that one at all. Toto looks like he's going to pick up a turret on the top side there, and that's going to be that's good news for Shadow Walkers. They need to grab more of these objectives. You know, they really have not. They've been good about getting around to rotations, but as far as their overall goal on the map, a few more turrets definitely would come in handy. I'm surprised at 28 minutes, nearly 30 minutes into the game, bottom turret's still standing. That's an outer turret, still up for ACME Corp.
Yeah, I mean, especially once your bottom turret falls, if you have no mid turrets, if you're trying to contest Dragon, you need to get the turret, and getting that bot turret's really hard if you don't have vision of the bottom jungle, which they haven't really done any excursions into the bot side jungle to get any vision. So, and it's really surprising that the gold is as close as it is, despite the fact that there are 2 turrets down.
Oh, a great binding lands onto SW. No follow-up available, but look at that. It was able to pop the passive from 100 all the way down to the passive getting activated there. So Totodile going to have to skate out of this one. The Dragon is back up and in contention. Both teams going at it here, but it will go over to Shadow Walkers. Terror of the Depths there going in onto Mob Ghost with the follow-up from Chibodi. A great ultimate there, locks down the enemy support. Mob Ghost's going to fall off the back of that, and he is not done doing work. Stratago's going to be the next one. Zark in the middle of the action here. Totodile trying to get on to John the Greatest and disrupt with the help of his jungler. Going to be able to take that one out, and the only consolation prize for ACME out of that engagement is Malkathos has been pushing top lane this entire time, but no turret secured. And I gotta consider that a win for Shadow Walkers, where we don't at least have an inhibitor turret down from that. I really feel like Malkathos is gonna have to start joining his team here. So, great flash from Chibodi with the red buff slow, gonna be able to pick himself up a kill there.
A little bit of the BM, but it's deserved, I guess.
It's you know, I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
So overall, we get the 1 LeBlanc kill for what? 4 kills? Yeah, because Malkathos was top, so they killed every single one of them.
It was not a pretty fight.
And really, like, the SW kill was just a misplay on SW's part, because SW didn't actually get to do very much damage in the fight. SW was really low on health, comes in, and then immediately gets ult ignited by Strat and has to immediately back out. So, and then just dies to ignite.
I think there's still plenty of options left for ACME. Shadow Walker's got to be careful that they did not get any sort of false confidence out of that last team fight. They need to realize, and I hope they do realize, that was a 4v5. So when you've got the person on your team that has the highest farm, has the highest gold on the map, that's not present at the fight, when that person actually joins the fight, things could go radically different for ACME Corp. And if Shadow Walkers are running in guns blazing, expecting the same results against a full 5-man squad, which is actually fairly easy to do when you feel like you're winning these fights over and over again. But once that key element gets introduced, they're going to need to watch out here. That being said, I still think ACME Corp is going to have to play this one as safely as they can in order to get the results that they're looking for out of this. Zark actually ended up whiffing his ultimate there, ran it into pretty much nothing. So that's going to leave ACME Corp down an ult if the fight does break out, but it looks like they're going to choose to put some space between themselves and the enemy team. Nope, deciding to go back in on it. So,
well, Zark did manage to actually hit Mycroft, but Mycroft saw that Zark was coming and threw his hook out. So the moment he got knocked up, he just got pulled towards his hook and was totally safe.
I'm sure it was all part of the plan.
It's all part of the ingenious plan.
Toto getting snared there. Ended up taking quite a bit. Mob Ghost a little bit out of position, but Zark is there to back him up. Doesn't get the knockup. Pops the spell shield. Totodile just getting shredded by John on the back line. Zark putting the beef between the enemy team and his AD carry, is just pretty much solo chasing 4 members of Shadow Walkers away, but they know what's waiting in the wings if they decide to turn on him. So they're just going to head back to base and not try to pick a fight here. But Zark is really being annoying. John the Great is firing the culling, hits a tank line there. just a little bit too far up and ended up eating it thanks to Jetstone. Jet going to fall in that one as well. So 80 carry for 80 carry being traded. Toto still down, so power play is available for ACME Corp if they decide to get a little bit more out of this. But dead members coming out of the base for Shadow Walkers now, so not too much opportunity left.
I mean, it was good that Jetstone managed to make a good play out of something that was going horribly wrong after that chase. I almost feel that Totodile forced it a little bit too hard because he felt bad that he had used his ult and didn't actually get anything for it. So he was trying to force a kill and walked into the 80 carry while being kited by a Scion.
Yeah, that's one of those things that it's like when you, let's say you sweep a ward and you've got 2 hits on it. All it takes is 1 more hit. The enemy shows up and the smart move is to not finish killing the ward and to back out before you die. But it's so tempting to want to just, I got 1 more hit on it. I just got 1 more hit. I feel like that's the same thing going on. Oh, John just gets deleted. You don't really stand a chance when you've got a LeBlanc and a Riven coming after you like that.
The worst part is that that wasn't even the ult being procced.
Malkathos going in hard onto Totodile. Gets hooked backward. Rest of Shadow Walker's going to clean that one up easily. A little bit of a misplay, unfortunately, by Malkathos. And at this stage in the game, his team cannot afford for him to be making any misplays.
Yes, the unfortunateness of being the most fed person on your team and having the most gold is your misplays are worth more.
Quite a lot more. The need to stay alive just becomes that much greater when you're in possession of a disproportionate amount of gold for your team. You take your team from a team that's ahead to a team that's behind. And really, at this point, ACME Corp is in no situation ahead. They're not very far behind. This dragon could be a good tipping point for Shadow Walkers if they manage to secure it. But at this point, ACME trying to join the fight here. The dragon is going to go in favor of Shadow Walkers, but the action has broken out. Zark gets the knock up onto Mycroft, flashes backward. Totodile getting focused down as he tries to tear apart the back line, but John providing plenty of damage. The Tides of Blood going to take Shadow Walk, SW out, sorry. And that was a fight that ACME Corp needed.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good team fight by ACME Corp. Like, they had Scion eating most of the damage. Malkathos immediately pulls in, goes onto the back line, throws his ult, does all of his damage, and then Zhonya's, so they can't even return fire. So the only one that actually dies is Malkathos after he comes out of his Zhonya's, and they've already killed 3 people. Well, 2 people, and then the SW dies at the end.
Ill-advised Baron for ACME Corp. They're going to have to get out of this when they realize as soon as Shadow Walkers show up, it's not an objective they can maintain control of. Gotta wonder, though, are Shadow Walkers going to try to reciprocate and grab this Baron themselves?
They could.
For now, just I think they're content with letting ACME back away. Mega Totodile's been doing some work in this top lane, though, with the wave that he's built up underneath that turret. With the support of his team here, Malkathos not going to be able to defend that off, so Totodile picking up another important objective for his team. They evened the turret race up pretty much. It's down to 1. And
I almost think that at this point they should force the Baron. There's a huge wave building towards bot tower. They could easily, well, or they could just take mid tower. I'll accept that too.
Mid tower is a good option for them. I think they can certainly do both. I think they can take mid tower here, back out, clear vision around Baron. They have the Scuttle Crab at least for a few more seconds. That's advantage Shadow Walkers, and they've definitely got the gold advantage going into this as well. But it's not insurmountable. At any point, ACME Corp could get off an amazing fight if the right conditions present themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if they catch SW out again, which was how they were winning earlier, then suddenly SW can't do all of his damage, and he dies. And that's a huge chunk of damage in just their assassin. Heaven forbid it happens on Totodile, who is now actually managing to catch up. Not as much, but closer to Malkathos. It's not quite the 2,000 gold lead it was earlier.
So ACME Corp at this point continuing their barrage on the enemy base. I think they'd like to have Baron at this point. Nope. Action going on. Mycroft getting hit by those crits from John the Greatest. The Tides of Blood went on to 2 there, and was just enough for them to be able to get the damage they wanted onto that turret, but I don't think they were able to get everything they wanted out of that. Turret still stands, but at this point, ACME Corp on the run and got themselves about 2/5 of the turret taken away. So
Baron?
certainly could have done that. Baron is on the menu.
Strat's too low to go in. Zark is at half health.
Shadow Walkers have this Baron in the bag, especially. I mean, why not grab yourself a little jungle appetizer there, courtesy of Strategos, and then go on to the main course. So, SW deciding to go back for seconds on the appetizer there. Malkathos going to be sent back to base the bad way, and free Baron. So Shadow Walkers just completely maintaining control of that jungle area, allowing them to score a Baron uncontested. And at this point, they are looking very strong, very healthy, and this no longer looks like an even-up game to me.
I'm surprised that... Okay, so Malkathos is building a Giant's Belt. I'm assuming that that's probably going to go into a Rylai's, but I don't think that he should do that. I think he should instead be building, like, a Banshee's Veil. He has no magic resist. He just got instantly killed by LeBlanc, despite LeBlanc missing one of her spells.
You know, the Will of the Ancients going to help out on the double AP composition, sure. Mob Ghost looking to get deleted here, and the Vi Ultimate going to take him out, but he ends up getting punished for going that deep. That's exactly what ACME Corp need to do. When Chibodi uses his ultimate to take out a primary target, he isolates himself from the rest of his team. They predicted that isolation, used their crowd control to shut him down, and traded a kill for a kill. Zark turning on the Unstoppable Force. Great flash from SW over the Dragon Wall. That's going to carry him to safety and deny the kill. Zark ultimate going to be on cooldown now. Unfortunately, that flash is going to be on cooldown for SW as well.
It does kind of suck that SW had to do that, but I can't really, complain about his decision. He was hiding in an area where he knew they didn't have vision yet, and he was doing exactly what he needs to be doing as LeBlanc. He wanted to catch out somebody again, and if he'd have called out Malkathos again, which he almost did, that would have been another quick kill, because what's Malkathos going to do? He has no magic resist. It's too fast for him to Zonya's. So, good play by SW. Good job you got out. Very close call either way.
But this jungle is still dangerous territory for ACME Corp. Even though they've got 5 wards now in the defensive position, I really don't feel like they're totally safe in their own jungle. Zark taking a lot of damage on the front line. He's got a lot of health though, so able to still be in command of about 2,000 hit points, but just... Okay, that's how quick 2,000 hit points goes, folks. Zark trying to maintain his passive here and keep himself in this fight, but SW taking him out as another dragon goes their way. Shadow Walkers looking unstoppable at this point.
Case in point, that Acme needs to get some magic resist. LeBlanc is flexing her muscles, and they don't have enough. Scion only has 100 magic resist. That's not enough to survive the full burst, even with the huge health pool.
Unfortunately for him, he needs to be able to maintain that front line. And right now, he's got one tiny bit of magic resist. The rest, waiting for it to come later, but later may not arrive the way Shadow Walkers are tearing through ACME Corp's base.
We'll see how it turns. I'm not sure if they should continue and try and press for another tower. They did just lose Baron buff, and Mycroft is a little low, but we'll see. I mean, if they catch someone out, then it might still go in their favor.
I don't feel like Shadow Walkers has anything to fight over now. Dragon is not live, Baron's not live, and the Baron buff going all the way for them. Totodile getting caught in the back line. He just got completely negated for that entire fight. Djibouti going in on John the Greatest. Has to flash out, but the double taps from John going to take him out. Jetstone ends up going down thanks to Zark. Got a lot of damage onto Zark, but not enough to take the kill there as ACME Corp find exactly the fight they were looking for. They've got themselves back in this game now.
Yeah, that was a really, really good play. I definitely want to highlight one thing that Mobghost did. I haven't actually seen too many like crazy plays by Mobghost yet, but Mobghost actually interrupted SW's first initial distortion with a tornado, which meant that a lot of the damage that he wanted to do on the initiate just didn't happen.
Unfortunate for them. We'll see if ACME Corporation is able to repeat their success with that last fight. Yeah, they set up the dominoes, and it worked out well for them. Shadow Walkers just, they got greedy. They stuck around a little bit too long. There wasn't really a good option available for them. I know they felt like they were in command of the game and could fight a 5v5 and push down another turret and the Nexus to go for the win. But conservative move there would have been to back out. They ended up paying the price for it.
Yeah, I mean, it was an okay fight if they had done it while they were on the run, or if they had like hidden somewhere and waited for somebody to walk by and just kill them instantly. But they didn't. They tried to force an initiate. They wanted Vi to go in. They wanted Nautilus to go in. They had Riven go in, and Nautilus was already at half health, so that was already dangerous. The entire enemy team is at full health.
And I'm not sure.
And by the time they get in, they're all low.
I'm not sure how Strategos threaded the needle there with that Dark Binding, but that was an amazing catch. When he caught Totodile out, threw the pool up underneath him, and the rest of the team followed up, Toto contributed 0 damage to that last team fight, and that was huge for ACME Corp. ACME repositioning themselves now, trying to go in and get an objective. The one thing about that fight, unfortunately for ACME Corp, even though they won it, they weren't able to get any objectives out of it. Dragon Baron both weren't live, and they fought so close to home. Those turrets were just a little bit too far away, a little bit out of their reach. But they are pushing up onto the inhibitor turret now. But Shadow Walker's in a much better position than they were when the last fight began.
Well, the key is that not only did they manage to get some shutdowns, they got some extra gold for their troubles, but they also got the chance, while Red was down, to get some more vision going, which they hadn't had because they've been backpedaling for the whole way.
At this point, Shadow Walkers trying to reestablish their position as this Baron is coming up 5 seconds, and it will be live. Both of these teams playing the vision battle here. Trinkets going off left and right, trying to place and clear wards as they both gear up for this next fight. I think on both teams' minds right now could be the decider of the game.
Oh, this is dangerous.
Zark going in with the Unstoppable Force, only gets it on the Mycroft, but the culling just chunking through his health. That has to take him completely out of this fight. Mobghost throws Totodile toward John the Greatest, and John able to deal with the backlash of that. Djibouti going in onto John, grabs the kill there. Great target acquisition for him, and he'll actually make it out with his life. Strategos with a great Zonya's Hourglass, keeping himself alive. The binding does hit. He ends up grabbing the clone. Oh, so unfortunate there. Or was that the kill? I can't.
That was the kill.
That was the kill. Okay. Okay.
That was like, it was such a good kill. Props to Strat for getting it, but that was completely on SW. Like, SW missed everything, should not have kept going.
And then he
was
like he stood still.
way too low. They might still get the dragon though, Baron though.
I immediately thought that's the clone, just because he was standing still, and it was just a free binding. Djibouti and
Easy
Jetstone
Draven axes.
going in on this Baron and make quick work of it. A 2-man Baron. Zark trying to turn the corner there. Doesn't end up finding anything, unfortunately for him. So Chibodi going to make it out of that one with the Baron buff, and Shadow Walkers are in a good spot. Not out of the woods yet, though, but won that last team fight, grabbed themselves a Baron, and Dragon coming up now for them. ACME Corp knows they have to disrupt here. Don't think Shadow Walkers are going to make it to this fight early enough. They might try to Draven ult the Dragon, but that is not a winning strategy. Actually might have worked out for them right there. The Zark missed the smite by 62 health, it looked like.
I think at that point, though, they're not as afraid of ACME getting the second dragon. It's not as big for them.
Definitely.
What they're really interested in is Drag 5.
Totodile actually using his Quicksilver Sash. Zark going in on the back line here, but he is by himself, not taking enough to deal with the brunt of 3 members of Shadow Walkers, but the fight is circling all around Chibodi, who's just trying to get to the back line here. Charging up the Vault Breaker, going in onto Zark, not going to hit with that, and the rest of his team just trying to push down onto this turret now as they send ACME Corporation running.
Well, Jet's just going to destroy this tower. TP coming top lane as well.
So, yeah, the top lane, John the Greatest getting chunked down. A great binding does keep him in place, but the Wind Slash has quite a bit of range on it. He's going to be able to take that one out. Zark desperately trying to defend this inhibitor, but Mycroft is plenty tanky enough to be able to take it out. Mob Ghost going in on targets here, but he's by himself. The rest of his team spread out. Shadow Walkers need to regroup here. They've got themselves a good position. They just need to get their priorities down as to what they're going to be doing as a team. No reason to be split pushing or splitting off at this stage. They've definitely got the power to punch through an open inhibitor in the bottom lane, but deciding to go back to base and heal up, though.
Well, SW is kind of low right now. Jet just got a bunch of stuff, so he probably wants to like refresh an elixir. They have open inhibitors now. They have the inhibitor down mid. I think that they're in a pretty good position. They probably could just back off. The Baron's going to be running out soon, so...
So the Quicksilver Sash, I really like that on Totodile. There's been quite a few times where he's gotten hosed by or Morgana Binding or some other form of CC, and being able to just completely wipe that away and get to where the back line, that's really going to help him. John's going to have to keep on top of that, as is Mob Ghost and the rest of the crew that can peel for him. John really doesn't have a lot of peel out of this team. Yes, Mob has peels for days, sure. The Strategos is just down to his binding. Malthus and Zark really aren't going to bring a whole lot to the table, especially the way Zark has been playing this game. He's been charging in toward Shadow Walker's front line. So he's not going to be available on his own team's back line for any sort of peel. Another great binding gets SW. Has to use the Zanya's Hourglass in order to avoid certain death underneath that fiery pool there. The Strategos, I gotta give it to him. He has been on point this game when it comes to landing the bindings. He's created opportunities for his team with them. He's peeled with them. He's set himself up for kills in lane with them. It's really working out well for him. Draven Ultimate, not gonna hit anything there. Just kind of giving Shadow Walker's vision.
I mean, like, it's coming down to if SW gets caught by a binding, then ACME's going to push them out. Because SW has no magic resist, SW has no way of sustaining, and SW is the one that they want to catch people out and kill them really fast. Looking to see if Zark is actually going to finish his Banshee's Veil anytime soon. He doesn't have the gold to yet, but we'll see.
So Luden's
Opting
Echo,
to instead update.
Luden's Echo on both mid laners. Surprising. There's been quite a bit of debate over that item as to whether it's any good or not, I guess. A lot of people are touting touting its abilities, and a lot of other people are saying it's trash too. And these people are quite influential in the community, so it's interesting to see it get picked up in this particular community.
I definitely like it overall. I think it's a good pickup early game if you want the extra burst, especially if you need the wave clear, because it does help you with wave clear. On the Blanc, I'm always torn whether I want that or I want the Death Cap. Death Cap gives you a really large power spike, but Luden's Echo helps you not need to use both of your distortions.
Chibodi getting bound. Strategos gets dove in the back line. That's going to be SW out of the fight. Mycroft follows in. Jetstones by himself, has to flash over the wall. Still in possession of the Guardian Angel, but unfortunately not in possession of his support or his mid laner. These death timers are absolutely huge at 54 minutes into the game. Shadow Walker's going to be playing on the back foot for quite a while after losing those two.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure why SW went in on Strat instead of going in on someone else. Strat has his Zhonya's. Malkathos has his Zhonya's. So his best bet is to either try and burst out the GA from John, because at least the GA proc will be wasted for a long time. Jet getting caught out.
Jet is by himself. What are you doing, Jet?
I'll tell you what he's doing. He's dying.
Heals available, but best to save that for next time. Mega Totodile is on the inhibitor, though. This is bad for ACME Corp. Inhibitor down, and Mega Totodile trying to make his way around the vision of ACME Corp. Looks like he's going to be able to skate to safety, and he took a free inhibitor for it. He's going to want to hang around and possibly continue his aggression here. If he keeps leading ACME away from their base, they have super minions barreling in shortly. They have enough time. They can actually take this Baron. And Chibodi...
This is a dangerous Baron.
Ooh. This could turn out so many bad ways. Malkathos going in onto SW here, forces him out of the fight, and Chibodi coming in, wants to get the steal, grabs it, a great steal from Chibodi, secures it for his team, denies it to ACME Corp, and Shadow Walkers gotta be happy about the way that one worked out for them. They still have to defend any incoming pushes from ACME Corp, but with that Baron, gonna make it plenty easy.
At a little bit of a lull, they can't really do a whole lot. They're pushing in for inhibitors.
And there's Toto again on the inhibitors, just with the back door. He has done so much work, circling around, trying to go for the trifecta on the inhibitors. Everybody is up on ACME Corp. Everybody's available to make a move for him here, and finally a few folks are able to push him away from that inhibitor, but I gotta think he's gonna return this time with a whole bunch of minions.
I mean, we still have a while until bot inhibitor respawns as well, so it's entirely possible for them to just group up, push top, get the inhibitor. Then they're stuck in their base trying to clear against 3 full waves of supers, which, once you have all 3 inhibitors, you're spawning 2 supers per wave.
The Baron buff is it could last long enough for them to crack this base open after taking that.
SW's on the sideline.
SW waiting in the wings, perfect position for an assassin. If they have the backup of their team, nope, not going to decide to make a play for it. Just heading back to base here with that empowered recall, and going to join his team from the backside instead. ACME Corp pushing up in this middle lane against all odds, against a team that that has a Baron. At this point, I'm not even looking at the gold or the kills anymore. They don't matter. We're approaching an hour. We've got elixirs on several members of each side, and all 6 item slots taken up. Not too much left to build.
Yeah, like at this point, the only thing that could change would be Nautilus finishes his Banshee's Veil, or Zark finishes his Banshee's Veil, but there's not even very much going on.
Did
in
that
terms of
binding
gold.
just take off as much health as I saw it take?
That's what happens when you have
That
no magic resist.
was huge. SW just got taken out of the fight with one binding. Chibodi is fighting John the Greatest. He tried to go for the inhibitor here, decided he wasn't going to make it in time, and tried to do a 1v1, but John not trying to hear any of that. Inhibitor successfully defended, but look at this wave. Super Minions just so strong. That Nexus turret is limping along. All somebody from Shadow Walkers needs to do is come over and give it a dirty look, and that thing should fall over pretty quickly, especially with this Baron buff, which actually looks like it just wore off, if I'm not mistaken.
I think at this point, Shadow Walker's best bet is just to like keep them inside their base, play safely, get drag 5 in a minute and 30, minute and 40.
Chibodi still down for Shadow Walkers. They're still having to play a little safe. John trying to tango with Mega Totodile here. Toto giving his life in fair trade for that inhibitor. That secures the trifecta on the inhibs for Shadow Walkers. Zark going in with the ultimate here. Gets the speed boost from Mob Ghost. Mob Ghost going in onto SW. SW able to get himself back to safety. But the ACME Corporation are not anywhere near their base. They're at the halfway point of the map. As a group of 5, take a look at the work those super minions are doing to this tower. One down already. Surely Malkuthos cannot defend it by himself. Zark and crew need to get back to this turret. This game is slipping through their fingers off the backs of these super minions. Great binding on the Mycroft here. Just tanking some damage. Going to anchor himself out. But John the Greatest grabs the kill. Terror of the Depths not going to go up onto him. And ACME Corp defend once again. Those death timers so huge at this stage. One death just completely sets back all of the work the Shadow Walkers were doing. And ACME Corporation have finally gotten to defending their base, pushing these waves out. They have the inhibitor up in the bottom lane. That's huge for them right now. No double super minion line coming in. So these assaults that are going to be happening for Shadow Walkers now are defensible for them. It's just going to come down to a matter of team fighting. And
this is going to be drag 5.
Yes, unfortunately for ACME Corporation, Dragon Control, what it's going to come down to, they've got to send 3 members to try to disrupt this dragon. Dragon number 4 is game over for ACME Corp. They can't give it up. Unfortunately, they've got action happening back at the base. Strategos is having to defend this one lonely turret against SW while this fight over Dragon is raging, but the Dragon gets secured by ACME Corp. In this game for just a little bit longer at least. Chivoti goes down. The Jetstone up next. This could be it. This could be the game for ACME Corp. 2 members down.
Easy.
70 seconds. Shadow Walkers have Mega Totodile and Mycroft left to defend. What a turnaround. This game is still on. It's still anybody's game
maybe
at
not.
this stage.
Totodile's clearing bot inhibitor.
Mega Totodile going in with the teleport onto that inhib while we have the battle raging away over this inhibitor in the mid lane. 2 members going after Totodile here. He uses the Quicksilver Sash to get away. The inhibitor goes down in middle lane.
Nexus turret's under attack though.
Those Nexus turrets are getting barraged. Super Minions doing their work, and it just seems like too little too late for ACME Corp. They finally got a really solid handle after taking that dragon. 4-4 tied things up, but unfortunately there's not enough left of their base in order to be able to mount a good offense. They've got to sit back and play defense. At this point, there's nothing left to defend but the Nexus itself. Toto's teleport is down, sure. But at any point he's shown he's capable of just walking into the base and auto-attacking. He can duel anyone on ACME. Possibly any 2 people on ACME at this stage.
I mean, at this point, I don't even know if there's a whole lot that ACME can do. Like, they have the middle inhibitor open, but they have double supers pushing in every wave. The Baron's up, sure, but is the Baron really going to help them that much? Like, can they defend their base even with Baron? I guess they have to do it to defend against the Baron, but what happens if they reach the base?
There's no way they defend the base against Baroned up double super minion line. Unfortunately, there's no way that they grab Baron outside of a wicked wild steal either. Zark going in for the try, disrupting, culling, fires through the front line of Shadow Walkers. Back line of ACME Corporation getting torn up here. Flash is getting blown. Chibodi by himself, but ACME has managed to grab the next team fight as well. They've got to head back to base before these super minions win the game. The Shadow Walkers, but an amazing turnaround. ACME Corporation able to win that team fight, prevent the Baron from being taken. It seemed like they were left with no good options, but they found a way.
Yeah, I mean, it almost seemed like we were seeing a different team fight. Suddenly, like, it looked like Zark was gonna die, Malkathos was gonna die, and then neither of them actually died.
There was so
I like
much
to think
going
that it's
on.
the Banshee's Veil.
Definitely the Banshee's Veil came into play. That fight was all over the place. And at this stage, everybody has everything at their disposal. Everybody's level 18. They've got all their active items. They've got their potions and as much cooldown as they can stack. And the action is just going to be wild and flying in the middle of these team fights. Baron
Everybody's
still
starting to respawn.
on the map. Yeah, we are getting the respawns out of Shadow Walkers. Unfortunately, ACME this entire time have not been able to take advantage of those death timers outside, just trying to get their inhibitors back up and running. I feel like if they can do that, if they can get 3 inhibitors back up, they can force a good situation, possibly around Baron, for their team. Unfortunately, they...
Well, the key here is all they need to do is they need to kill Jet, Chibode, and Totodile. Because they can push down a lane and take the Nexus turrets and inhibitor, and Nexus, before either Mycroft or SW would be able to take their Nexus.
And those are the people that have been dying in team fights pretty consistently. They've managed, I think the last 2 team fights, they've gotten 3 kills out of each team fight and no deaths. Unfortunately, it's just those super minions constantly knocking at the door while the whole time this team fight is going on for them. So getting these inhibitors
Also,
back up going to be big.
Just to draw attention to it, SW decided that he does not like being hit by bindings anymore and opted to sell his boots for a Banshee's Veil.
You know, that's a smart move. At this stage in the game, LeBlanc really doesn't need Banshees. Despite breaking out over Baron once again, Chibodi getting hit by the Baron. The Tides of Blood gonna take him out, but look at this, Totodile and SW managed to win the game for Shadow Walkers. Just too little
Exactly
too late
what we were worried about.
for ACME Corporation. A fantastic game for both teams. Shadow Walkers plenty happy to take a victory going into the next one. Guys, we're going to evaluate the situation, see if we can set up for another one. I know we've had some big delays tonight due to problems with the League client, but stick around and we'll see what's coming up next. And we're back, folks. Game 2 of Shadow Walkers versus ACME Corp. Shadow Walkers taking Game 1 of the series. I'm your host, Sanson. Welcome to House Party 5v5 Saturday League. Thank you for joining us. With me in the co-caster's chairs, my good friend Deck Club Ace. Welcome to the show, Deck.
Hey guys, glad to be here.
And we are glad to have you, sir. Alright, Jetstone up first to pick for Shadow Walkers. We're gonna Vladimir Maokai being banned out. The Vi, LeBlanc, and Jace getting taken out for ACME. Sort of rearranging their ban priorities this time around, and I think that's a smarter strategy for them.
Yeah, I mean, allowing SW to play LeBlanc, despite the fact that he was getting caught out repeatedly by Morgana bindings, he still did fantastically. And it ended up being him and, Totodile on Riven. They ended up winning the game because of their high mobility and being able to just go finally push when they attempted the Baron.
It was a great strategy for them, and looks like we're just seeing a few new faces here. We've got Sejuani coming out already, so it's a strong jungler, still very strong jungler.
Still probably one of the top tank junglers.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. Now, 2 picks coming up for ACME Corp as they try to turn this series around and get a win in their favor. You know, that last game was probably the closest House Party 5v5 game I have ever seen.
Oh, it was a slugfest. It was like, it seemed like it was going to go one way early game, and then mid game it changed up, and it was like bouncing back and forth. We had what, over 100 kills? No, that was over 100k gold.
Yeah, I
Maybe
lost
100 kills
count
total.
when it came to the kills. It was it was amazing. The amount of death going. It wasn't one of those games where you have both teams dead even the entire game. No, one team was stomping the other, and then the other team would come back and start stomping, and it would yo-yo back and forth between both teams, and there's so much murder and bloodshed that game. It was the body count was very high. So John the Greatest going to opt for the Nautilus as his support. Still yet to pick that 80 carry on that side. It looks like Chibodi going to go for the Sivir. Braum being brought into the mix as well. Braum, one of those champions we don't see a lot in House Party. Definitely a very strong support. I'm interested to see what Minecraft is going to be able to do with that champ. Mob Ghost and Malkathos up next to pick. Zark playing
See how it works for him.
the Twisted Fate. That's another interesting choice as well. One we don't see very often either.
I don't usually see a Twisted Fate picked so early though, because like that's, you know, card puns aside, that's showing your hand a little bit too early.
I don't think you can cast those puns aside.
I mean, it's in my name.
You're right. It is, yes, true. It is showing their cards a little bit early. Are Shadow Walkers really building in light of it at this point, as far as their team composition goes? I don't think so. And Malkathos is taking Shen? What is going on here? Alien Abduction. Replacement.
I like that pick, actually.
I mean, I'm
a fan.
I'm not saying it's a bad choice. It's just Malkathos doesn't play Shen. At least he doesn't play it in House Party. So nobody plays Shen in House Party. So we're seeing a lot of unconventional approach in this game. We'll see if the Zed actually does get locked in here. But
I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to do with this. I like the TF Shen combo a lot. I don't know if Malkathos is going to do any good on him if he never plays him in 5v5.
Mega Totodile just locked in Karthus.
Oh boy.
So if that's a Karthus mid, then it's Zed top. If it's a Zed mid, then it's Karthus top. So where
Karthus top wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. He wouldn't be able to stop Shen from teleporting away, but he could still contribute to the team fights with his ult.
I mean, that's one of the things. Yeah, okay, sure. He's not going to be able to stop Shen with his ultimate, but will he be able to provide the global pressure as well? Sure. But I definitely would have opted for something a little bit more, a little bit less fragile. It just it doesn't seem like Karthus is one of those champions that's going to be able to deal well with the fast-paced environment in top lane, the ganks that are going to be coming out. Nocthos runs in with a taunt off the back of an incoming gank from I'm not sure who's going where at this point. Is Strategos could be support, Mobgos could be support. At this point, the only jungler that really is available for ACME is Nautilus.
Unless pulling a card out of Unicorns of Love and playing the jungle TF.
Yeah, I wouldn't put anything past it at this point. We saw a Karthus and a Zed. We've seen a Braum, a Twisted Fate, and a Shen. I don't recall ever having seen those before in House Party. I could be wrong. I don't have a photographic memory, but wow, it looks like it is going to be the Twisted Fate jungle. Amazing. Megatoad going to be going top lane with the Karthus.
I'm very interested to see how that works against Shen.
Very interested to see how any of this works. You got 2 global ultimates over on ACME's side. Sure. John the Greatest is playing as Jinx. It's a champion that he's comfortable with. He sort of kind of got forced into being comfortable with it last season, but through all that, he's got a lot of experience on the champion actually, and it's a good, solid choice for him. I want to look at it and say it's the only good, solid choice that I'm seeing out of these 10 picks. Jetstone, yeah, I was skeptical about his move to AD carry to begin with. I don't feel like he has the same impact that a lot of the other AD carries in the league have. He's kept up well with John, about on par, the same with John. But Sivir, I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be bringing into the middle of these. I guess Totodile can get in with Lay Waste a lot quicker with his AoE and whatnot.
Well, okay, up until the out of the left field top lane Karthus, the rest of their team comp looked fine. It was like you have Sejuani as an initiator with Braum in to throw in some extra distortion, and then if needed, you have Sivir as a second initiator or for disengage. So it works really well. I'm not sure how the Karthus is going to play into this, though.
Right. I'm sitting here listening to you break it down, and it all makes sense, but the whole time I'm wondering, okay, but where does Karthus fit into this? And yeah, I'm not surprised to see you're scratching your head over that as well. So, okay? We got Strategos mid here. That's for sure. So mid, okay. Lulu does well against the Zed. It's I think that comes down to a skill matchup between Strat and SW.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be really close. I probably am going to see an early Zhonya's out of Strat just to kind of counteract SW. I know that Lulu's ult can, but it's a little more insurance if you have a Zhonya's.
The great thing about Lulu's ult is that it adds health. It does not heal you. It just it stacks health on top of what you already have. So the ignite on SW is not going to affect that health gain. So whenever he goes in with his ultimate, you're right, all Strategos has to do is pop that wild growth, and that could turn the fight around. Well, guys, we are heading into loading screen here. Caster's going to take a short break, and we'll see you back when we hit the rift.
The Summoner's Rift.
All right, welcome everybody. House Party 5v5. We are in the middle of Shadow Walkers versus ACME Corporation, just getting started. My name is Anson. Be shoutcasting this game for you alongside my good friend, Mr. Deck. Welcome, Deck.
Glad to be here.
So Shadow Walkers taking game one, but not without a fight. Last game was a huge 65-minute slugfest, and neither team were sure victors until the very end. So interesting to see. I'm interested to see what's going to be coming out this game, especially with the jungle TF and the top lane Shen versus Karthus. You'll have to forgive me, I'm not very familiar with that particular matchup. I almost got to give it to Karthus. His ability to throw out those little red skillets is going to disrupt Malkathos' ability to get in there and farm. Shen wants to be up close and personal when it comes to farming. Sure, he's got his Q, but if you sit back and only farm with Q, you're going to fall far behind.
I mean, Shen's early wave clear is really bad until he gets a Sunfire Cape or a Static Shiv, depending upon which build you decide to go. And Karthus can just shove the wave into his tower really fast. So I'm kind of curious to see how he's going to play around that. SW taking a lot of damage in mid lane from the Lulu.
So early Lulu power really coming through for Strategos there. He's putting a little wall up onto SW. Bottom lane, not yet hit the level 2 mark, but that just popped it. Mob Ghost and John both trying to take advantage of that spike. A great hook and the snare onto Jetstone. Jet has to use the heal to get away from that situation, and just a fantastic play from that bottom lane. ACME Corporation coming out strong in the early minutes.
That was like fantastic use of the level 2 power spike. They got to do a bunch of damage before they even attempted to level up. It's kind of unfortunate that the exhaust didn't come out a little bit earlier. Might have saved Jet a little bit more health, but I think Mykoff was a little bit out of range for it, so
Just a tad.
unfortunate.
This wave is going to be pushed up onto the turrets. Jetstone and Mycroft going to be able to sit back, try to farm this up underneath the turret, but that can get a little difficult, especially when you've got John the Greatest and Mob Ghost chucking things out at you. They seem to be doing quite well, handling those caster minions with the support's auto attacks.
Karthus' initial laning is a little bit slow. He gets a little bit of mana regen.
SW uses the shadow jump to get away from the incoming gank, and actually on the run at this point with the view switching to bottom lane. SW had to flash away, but Strategos flashing right after, hits the Glitter Lance and the auto attacks, and that's first blood for ACME Corp. Great pickup for them.
That was, I don't know, I think that SW kind of got baited into committing a little bit too far to try and harass Strat, and by the time he'd used his shadow, he suddenly had Zark up behind him with a gold card already locked with double buffs. And that was actually a really good map maneuver by Zark. He had started opposite of Sedge, and so instead of opting to get his blue buff to mirror Sedge, he got his red buff. So by the time he got his blue buff, he could go mid.
A good plan, and it worked out very well for them. Got their mid laner, a good kill's worth of gold. 3 longswords being stacked onto SW now. I think he's doubling down.
It's a very common tactic, at least, depending upon what build path you want to go, to stack up on a couple of longswords. You know, you can have 2 of them turn into a brutalizer if you want that early, or you could have them turn into a cutlass and then later grab a brutalizer. We'll likely see the Brutalizer instead of the Cutlass first, but we'll see.
We shall see. Bit of a lull in the action here. Both sides just kind of farming things out and waiting to see what opens up on the map. Right now,
Strat getting to pick up a Seeker's Arm Guard on his first back because of
Oh.
that first blood kill.
that's going to be huge for him. He's going to stack that up pretty handily, and that extra armor really going to make a difference when SW hits 6, and he's pretty close to it at this stage. A little bit of gank action coming in. Zart flashes, gets the gold card. The polymorph not really needed there. Why not? Auto
Not
attacks
quite.
going down. The Glitter Lance not going to take it.
It did force the back, though, before he could hit 6. So Strat's already hit 6 and is half a level ahead of him, and is going to force another wave into the tower.
It's
Looks like Sedge's going to be here to soak, though.
really good jungle pressure from Zart. He came in at exactly the right moment before level 6 was hit and just created a really good opportunity for his mid laner. The pressure coming now from another Zart gank. Has the gold card selected but doesn't have the range to catch up, and Shadow Walker's bottom lane going to be able to head back to their turret and remain safe there.
Yeah, but even with like not being in range and not having his flash after having ganked mid, he still had enough pressure to force Jet to flash. So that's honestly really good respect for it. Incoming Karth Soul.
And the Karth Assault comes down. No kills secured there. I'm not sure if he was just trying to pressure an objective or if he missed his math on that one.
I think he assumed that with the with SW mid and with Chibod mid that maybe they would be able to get the kill on Lulu, or potentially get John because John's kind of low. But it just ended up not really doing anything. They just backed off and played safe a little bit.
You know, he might have actually said, hey, Malkathos isn't in lane, so I can't get taunted out of this one, so let's just put down some damage.
That's true. I'm like,
Because
anytime Shen's in lane, it's going to be very unsafe to cast your ult.
extremely unsafe. And when he's backing away from a fight that he otherwise has no business backing away from, I think that's a pretty strong cue to Malkathos that Karthus is about to press R. So he can broadcast that to the rest of the map, even if he can't go in with his feint, or not his feint, with his Shadow Dash in order to stop that ultimate from being cast. But at the same time, he can still use Stand United to protect any teammate on the map that is in threat of losing their life to the Karth Assault.
We usually Zark has recently hit level 6 after getting his red buff, so we'll see if that's going to help him out in any ganks that he's going to try and perform. Looks like he's trying to gank Totodile. I'm not sure how that's going to work because they're just shoving the lane up constantly, but maybe we'll just wait in a bush.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get a bush gank going on here. It's definitely one they're going to have to set up for. Oh, he revealed himself. The taunt does go off, though, so Totodile has to flash away. Back at the safety of his
It's a good
turret
gank.
here, but yeah, good gank from Zart, using the pressure of
the Jinx
that
missile.
wave, the Jinx ult.
Not
Wah, wah, wah. Not today. Maybe next time.
His turret has been destroyed.
So turret.
Unfortunately,
down.
they lost the tower.
First one of the game, going over to ACME Corp. Look at the damage coming out from Strategos on the Chibodi there. He's dealing quite a bit. Got a setup happening here. Gets sniffed out by Zark. Zark once again coming to his team's rescue here.
That would have been devastating for Strat. Even with Flash, probably would have still died between the Braum ult and the Sedge ult with Zed on top of her.
Would not have been a pretty situation, but you know, Zark had the spider sense going. He saw that one coming and possibly saw him getting into position there with some of that other ward coverage they have going on. So good map awareness on his part, if not spider sense.
I'll chuck it up to Spider Sense. Works for me.
Spider sense just
Like
so
they're
darn
trying
important.
to trying to look at a dragon, maybe? They're definitely getting the crab.
Dragon is up and available. Yeah, I don't think either team want to look at that objective, especially not without Scuttle Crab. So Scuttle really going to help ACME Corp out here. If they decide to make a move for this, they're only going to make that decision after pushing mid lane out, though. I don't think they want to leave this next wave up. They definitely want to get that underneath the turret before they begin their attempt, if they begin at all.
The blind flying chair interrupting the recall.
So Totodile got himself a wave coming up onto the turret here.
Also went and grabbed blue buff, so
Yeah,
easy farming.
That makes Karthus' life so much easier. You can throw down lay waste and just hit it over and over again.
I almost think that it was. I almost think that it was a good idea to take Zed mid then if they were planning on having the Karthus top for the global presence, because Zed does enjoy having blue buff, but he doesn't need it as much as some of the other mid laners that he could have played.
Right, so giving that over to Karthus gives them a little bit more overall team power. You're right, Zed is one of those champions that definitely appreciates blue buff. It's, despite the fact that he has no mana, it's actually a lot better on him than a lot of people who don't main Zed really think. The double knockup going off of Mycroft there as Jetstone turns on the hunt. The Karthus ult coming down. Malkathos not stopped in his attempt to use Stand United. The Boomerang Blade not going to hit, but forces the flash away. Jet had to flash himself there. Applying the passive stacks to John the Greatest. Not going to get quite just one hit away. John, meanwhile,
close.
chugging potions, and both sides just backing off out of that one. We're not seeing very much action this game. Both sides are playing very safely. I think they're starting to feel what's at stake here. So,
I mean, we kind of saw the power of Totodile on Karthus top. All he did was push the wave into the tower, and he ulted. And his ult put Zark low enough that Zark couldn't immediately go in.
ACME Corporation trying to stop this dragon attempt, and John is on Jetstone's rear, chasing him down. Chibodi gets taunted away, but not in time to stop the smite. Malkathos a little early on the taunt there. Chibodi going to be able to secure that dragon for his team.
Meanwhile, in the halls of top lane, Totodile secured himself a tower.
So pretty substantial. Whoa, Shadowghost. SW going in on him. Figures that should be enough to get it. Nope. Not going to happen, actually. He didn't use the death mark there. So.
Unfortunately, he had to use it previously.
Yeah, wanted to go in for the kill onto the Lulu, and might have been able to grab it. Had the death mark then up, but...
yeah, I'm not sure why he decided to commit to it without death mark, because if he doesn't have his ult, and Lulu has her ult, he's going to lose.
And he nearly got ganked there, unfortunately for him. So a bit of a risky play, but fortunately for him,
Didn't bite him.
didn't come back to bite him too very hard. So Dragon not available. First one going over to Shadow Walkers this game, but plenty of turrets still up on the map, and I think the global ultimates are really playing some confusing tricks on this game right now. As far as
definitely.
map pressure goes, as far as decision making, they're just kind of turning regular, normal, what we know to be normal League of Legends on its head.
I mean, if you look right now, if you look at the vision, there's not very much vision from red side. There's a pink ward and a ward on blue. That's it.
And the interesting thing about these global ultimates is they're both on the same cooldown. So when Stand United gets used, well, dial that back. When Totodile throws his ultimate out, if at that point Malkathos doesn't interrupt, he's going to use Stand United in response to save a target that Malkathos has selected out. Malkathos not going to fire that ult unless he's got a good target to put it on. So really all the power is in Malkathos' hands as far as trading those two ultimates goes. I don't see Totodile being able to use his ultimate to very great effect as long as Malkathos is always waiting in the wings to either interrupt it or counter it with use of his own.
Right, but the 2 times that we've seen Totodile use it so far, he's used it to get a little bit of harass when he first got it, whenever, you know, he wasn't able to be interrupted. And the other time was in response to Malkathos going in. He ulted. So I don't know, we'll have to see how it ends up playing out. I think that maybe Totodile will be a little bit better with it simply because his ult can do more damage than the shield does.
But at the same time, Mycroft here gets taunted by Malkathos. That's going to be a dead support, and John the Greatest picking up the kill for himself. More gold in his pocket right now.
I will eat my words as Malkathos saved John the Greatest.
Nice to eat words every now and again. Keeps us humble. So yeah, John pushing up mid lane with Mob Ghost. Going to get onto this turret. Possibly grab themselves another map objective, but nope. SW is there with the wave clear. Meanwhile, Chibodi coming through with the ward clear in the jungle. No offensive vision available for ACME at this stage. Only defensive wards.
Very slow and steady game. 2 kills in almost 18 minutes.
I told you they got kidnapped by aliens or something. We've got a
completely different game.
Completely different game. Completely different champions almost. In champion select, it's like 2 different teams stepped onto the river. I don't know any other way to explain it, but this game is so slow, so methodical. We've had 2 kills all game long, just 1 dragon, and not very many turrets being taken at the 18-minute mark. We could be going for quite a while tonight.
To see how it goes. Mob Ghost trying to get an initiate, but I'm just avoiding that anchor like it's the plague.
ACME Corporation trying to get back onto this mid lane turret. They put a lot of focus here. I mean, not too much else on the map to focus anyway, so. But Shadow Walker's really doing a good job of wave clearing out. With Jetstone and SW, they can pretty much take on any wave that comes their way.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure